Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome. It is time for Naturally Inspired Radio. So glad you're joining me today. Another beautiful day in Northern Colorado. As you can see, I have my flowers back, which I am so happy about. That was pretty, so pretty. So I could retire the other candles. There's a lot of candles on there. I feared y'all thought were thinking I was having a seance or something. So I'm really happy to have my flowers back. I love them. My studio smells so beautiful when I have flowers in here. So yay, got the flowers back. I hope you're having a great morning. Have you got your coffee with you? I've got my coffee with me. I've got my cellular reset. I got my Vivix going here. I am ready to dive in. I will warn you though. There's it's painful. It is just painful watching the world, turn into this digital, whatever it is. Some people call it it's the simulation. Technology is taking over. I checked in. Maybe it was a mistake. I don't know. But I like to check in on the nerds from time to time, the dorks, the tech people. No offense. I say that lovingly. But these people are pretty compartmentalized, I find. And so I like to check in on them and see what they're up to from time to time. And so I went and I watched some of Peter Diamandis's podcast, the Moonshots podcast. I find that one's pretty good for understanding where they're at in their thinking and the development. And so I just happened to pop in and see, what are these guys up to right now? Well, we got the robots. The robots are here, people. The robots are here. They are here. They have arrived. And pretty soon they're going to be everywhere, according to these guys, to these fellows. We're all going to have robots in our houses. Yeah. Okay. Bear with me here. Let's go to the first clip. This is Peter Diamandis's Moonshots.
Blown away by how far you've come.
The things that you can do with neural nets now just completely blow my mind. Every year to year, the whole business looks completely different.
It's amazing to me how you accumulate data, and the data becomes this incredible barrier to entry, this incredible asset.
The one thing that's important here is that once one robot learns how to do a task, every robot in the fleet knows it. And humans don't operate like this.
Yeah. When do we start seeing robots building robots?
We will put robots on our Baku lines this year. Listen, this is going to be the largest economy in the world. It's going to be super impactful business. It'll lead to ubiquitous goods and services for anybody in age of abundance. And it's going to be a super fun business too. It's going to build a sci-fi future we all want. What you're seeing is every major group in the world will get in this space. You have to. You have no choice.
When are we going to see the first figure in a customer's home?
My best guess is I think
hanging. It's coming soon. Some of the things he said here. It's going to build the sci-fi future that we all want. Do we all want that? Like I said, first of all, I got to tell you, this guy's name is Brad Adcock. I'm not making it up. That's his name. His name is Brad Adcock, and he is the CEO of Figures, which is a huge tech company that's developing home robots for use for everybody. Anyway, I sometimes I'm like, it does feel a little odd. This guy's name's Brad Adcock. We have Sam Altman. What's going on? Sometimes I wonder, God's got a great sense of humor here. I'm not really sure what's happening here sometimes. Anyway, it feels like they don't live on the same world that we do, and so some exciting things. Like I found myself like, oh, okay, maybe I could see that, that would be useful. This would be okay. But then nobody really talks about the surveillance part of this. I mean, we have phones that are listening to us. And from watching this podcast, from what I began to understand is that this isn't so much like your personal robot as it is like a fleet of robots. In fact, he even uses that word. When one robot learns something, the whole network learns something. The whole fleet learns something, if you will. And so from a surveillance standpoint, you have it's like having a government official living with you if you're going to have a robot in your house, because that sucker is going to be programmed to follow every mandate, every rule, because there'll be liability around these things as well, which is their only concern. It's not the impact that developing humanoids, and by the way, they call them humanoids. Why do they have to be shaped like humans? Why does this have to be shaped like a human? I find that very creepy because, you're going to have empathy for it. When it looks like a human, I'm not saying that you should mistreat these robots. Okay. Settle down. I know, the tech people, I'm not talking about that, but wouldn't it be better if they weren't in the shape of a human? Like, I think that's what makes it so creepy. It's like we are playing God here a little bit, you know? Look at what we have invented, a humanoid. And it's just so, the whole thing's creepy. There are multiple creepy sentences throughout this entire podcast, actually. This is what we all want, the sci-fi future that we all want. Well, we haven't been asked, actually. I haven't been asked. Have you been asked? Have we even had a national discussion around the advancement of technology? I don't think we have. Everybody just assumes we want this because it means more money. It means more money, right? Like they talk about the economy. This is a whole new economy. I mean, you are not going to be able to say no to this. Sounds like a mandate. Let's go to the second clip.
Or use it. I just feel like it's so dumb. Mm-hmm. It just feels like you're starting like a new chat. You're like basically asking it for like knowledge retrieval. It's like an advanced Google search engine. What I view is like I kind of like think about like we want to build like the future. We want to build like Jarvis, or we want to build like Jetsons. I want this thing to. I want
Jarvis so bad.
Yeah, I want it to talk to me. I want it to reason. I want to have like perfect memory. I want it to be able to touch the world both digitally and physically. I want to be general purpose, be able to do things like for me, think about reasoning through things. Yeah. We have Hark now designing CAD from scratch. It's going out and finding, you ask it to go build a CAD thing. I asked it to build basically a monster truck for my son in CAD. And it's going out. It's like finding a CAD package. It's installing it. It's opening it up. It's like learning how to basically build CAD and the parameters like it needs to look at for building monster trucks. And it goes off and does it. And we can do that in under an hour now, fully end to end. And just
clean sheet
from a single prompt. And it's using tools and computers like a human can. And we're going to give it all the same tools. Like we're going to give it all the tools that Figure uses for like, for CAD, for FEA, all this different stuff. And it's going to learn all this. And
was that the inspiration for Hark? The fact that, there's a lot of LLMs out there doing a lot of things, but none of them are really connected to CAD. And you have so much experience, from your.
My inspiration for Hark is I feel like we're like chasing, like all the big frontier labs are chasing this like very abstract version of like reasoning.
Specifically, Anthropic wants to dominate coding and code self-improvement, and then OpenAI wants to dominate.
I want to dominate like a sci-fi AI future.
Yeah.
I want like
Jarvis. Everyone knows Jarvis.
I want to build Jarvis. Like I want like the smartest person in the world with everybody.
Yeah.
We have like
also the von Neumann. It's like the idea that these things go out into the solar system and then ultimately out in the galaxy and start making themselves out of raw materials.
Nobody's doing this. Everybody's like copying the other frontier lab that's copying their frontier lab. Like nobody's building true multimodal systems that really can reason and understand and have persistent memory. Yeah. And like that can go out and touch the world and do things. That's my version of AGI is like I can do what humans can do, and humans are not sitting there giving me Google search answers.
So what he's talking about there at the beginning is he's saying he's not impressed with AI. He's not impressed with ChatGPT. And of course I talk about ChatGPT like this is just a little taste of what, like, it's just a little bone that they've thrown us. Like, here, look at AI, right? What they can really do with AI, we can probably not even comprehend at this point what they're doing with it. But I just, I can't, these people feel so compartmentalized in their own world. The way they converse, the way they get so, excited about this dominant sci-fi AI future that he wants to control, Brad. And Brad, by the way, if you watch Brad, no offense, but like, it's like watching a middle school teenage boy here. I got this monster truck and I'm going to be able to like do this with it. And then I'm going to do that with it. And then, it's just going to be awesome, dude, like. I don't know about you, but I'm like a little worried about that, I'm just like a little worried about that attitude. It's like, have you stopped to think about like how this fleet of robots could be weaponized against human beings? I know, I'm just crazy, right? I'm just a conspiracy theorist, but have you? have you thought about, because they talk very specifically about healthcare, especially elder care. how, you're not going to need to take care of your parents anymore because we're going to have these robots taking care of your parents. And I mean, it's going to be so awesome. I mean, when I get older, I want this thing taking care of me. I just don't think they get it. You know what I mean? Like I'm all for young people and excitement and innovation and all of that, but there's a huge gap here of understanding about life. I guess you could call it wisdom. And I just don't think it's there yet. I'll tell you why when we come back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. It's Thursday, and I'm so glad you're here. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Follow us on Rumble if you don't already. If you would be so kind to share it with a friend, I would love that. We're trying to connect more people to real solutions for health, get people out of the medical model and connected to solutions for root cause, understanding their body by providing a supportive community. And you can join us at naturallyinspiredstore.com. But if you want to share the show with somebody, we'd love you to share it from the Rumble space at Naturally Inspired Radio. Leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We can only grow with your help. So we appreciate you for doing that. So what I was listening to here, and like Peter Diamandis is an older guy, you know, and this other guy, I forget his name, forgive me, another tech person, they do the Moonshots podcast together, and they're older guys and stuff, but they're billionaires, right? They're billionaires. They're all about investing and, oh, so-and-so invested in your company and, oh, it's so fantastic and everything's so great. And what about this? And what about that? And yeah, you know, the returns on this. And nobody ever talks about how this is going to impact society. And I'm like, do you guys live in the same world than I do? Because like, this is just weird. Like, we're already having a problem. I don't know if these guys know this or not, but like, we're having a big problem with our young kids. This is training their brains. This portal here is training their brains, and they're not doing well, generally speaking. We have the most amount of children on medication for mental health that we ever have had, ever. We have this strange identity crisis going on with a lot of our kids. They're not really sure who they are. They don't know what gender they are, maybe, what sexuality they are. Like, there's a lot of confusion here. Okay. And we learn how to be human from other humans. We don't get a handbook when we're born. We're born into our family, and we have some models around us, our moms, our dads, maybe if we're lucky, we have both. We're in our community, and we pick up little things, cues. So, okay, this is how we eat, and this is when we go to bed, and this is what's acceptable in our unit. And if mom and dad are just like, working 12, 14 hours a day or off doing whatever, and baby gets raised by robot, that's going to be an interesting thing, right? We're going to have humans now modeling robot behavior. And you say, oh, it'll just be like a helpful thing around the house or whatever. Oh, yeah? Like the digital babysitter's been? The iPad? We now have a diagnosis for iPad kids. iPad kids don't like it when you take their iPads away. They actually have absolute fits. And it's biological at this point because they are so addicted to the screen. Okay? So you can tell me, oh, that it's just like a tool. It'd just be like having a babysitter. No, it won't. You're telling me that people are so disciplined that they're not going to put their kid with their robot so they can head out and go do this or go do that. And then pretty soon, before you know it, your kid's spending 16, 17, 18 hours a day with a robot. Oh, there's all kinds of ideas, that these types of people, the Brad Adcocks and Peter Diamanduses of the world, there's all kinds of ideas that they have about how this technology is going to be integrated into our society. And it's all good. It's actually fantastic. Everybody's going to be rich. There's going to be an abundance economy. And everything's going to be fantastic. And I get it. You're focused. You're wanting to innovate something. You actually wanted to dominate sci-fi AI future, in your own words. Dominate sci-fi AI future. I'm not sure if dominate sci-fi AI future includes humans. Like just regular old humans like you and I. I'm not certain that Brad is okay with that. Not certain. Let's learn a little more. Take a listen to this. It can hopefully design itself at the end of the day. So there's a bunch of stuff we're putting in place in terms of like manufacturing execution software, the lines, all the design of it. So we can at scale have humanoids go in, build in other humanoids and get them off the line. Yeah. And so I think I think this is and it took us a while to kind of, I think these adoption curves are shortening. Mm-hmm. And I do think if we could solve a general purpose humanoid robot today that could do everything you wanted, I think we could ship 1 billion of them today.
Yeah. Say again?
I think we ship 1 billion today.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So basically it comes down to can you get the neural nets to work at scale? Can you get the models good enough to generalize to this at scale? Yeah. Real general purpose, call it a general purpose robot, like a human in a suit. Yeah. And then can you get robots in the loop, build other robots?
Well, the other thing that's really compelling is like the neural net is the only IP you need to protect. So as long as you have the federated learning coming back to the mothership and all the training is happening centrally, like, the Star Trek Genesis project, right? You get a little capsule. It has basically the germ of like DNA. You could ship literally a box to Kenya. That's like, here's the figure box. It opens up and it starts making a figure manufacturing plant right out of thin air in the middle of Kenya. Yeah. And if there's capital there to bring the resources to it, then that's how you get infinite scale.
We talk about that. The innermost loop is energy and AI and intelligence.
And like local mining for the materials or whatever, but it's completely self-contained. But the key is that you just unlocked that capital that wanted to build something productive while all of the IP is still flowing back.
100xing the GDP.
To train the neural net centrally. 100x the GDP of that jurisdiction. There's latent capital all over the world.
So we talk about, there's a lot of fear out there in the world about losing jobs to AI and to robots. And the reality is the conversation has shifted now to, well, no, this is going to create massive abundance and universal high income. And that happens if, in fact, rather than the company hiring a robot to replace me, if I hire a robot to go out and do my work for me, and in fact, it's able to get triple my salary because it's working 3 shifts. Yeah. And it's doing that for me. And then earns enough to get a second robot working for me. Yeah. And so the question becomes, where is that capital captured? And is it inside the hyperscalers? Is it inside of the individual? So that's going to be the interesting conversation coming up. How do you think about that, Brett?
I mean, we're going to sell robots at scale. You're going to be able to deploy as many robots as you want to whatever you want to do. Yeah. You'll just do whatever you want. Like no instruction manual. What do you want it to do? It'll learn it. It'll research the internet. It'll use digital tools if it needs to. It'll talk to you. It'll reason.
We're going to sell building robots at scale. You see what I'm saying here? Like, it's got a little middle schooler vibes there. Like, we're going to build them. We're going to build them. We're going to sell robots at scale. We're going to sell building robots at scale. You're going to build them, and they're going to do anything you want. You're going to have anything you want. You're going to do anything you want. There's so many things here. First of all, I guess we're going to colonize Africa with our robots now. I mean, we're already colonizers, you know? And now we're going to be robot colonizers. We're gonna send over self-assembling robots to build a robot army and conquer Africa. Of course, we wouldn't be conquering them. We'd be helping them because they asked for it. Because the people there definitely probably want, you know, an army of robots around them doing all their work. Like, I don't know. I'm just a person out here living life and stuff. But like, these guys are billionaires. Like, it kind of catches me off guard to think like, I know I can't be smarter than them. You know I couldn't possibly be smarter than these billionaire tech bros, but have you like really thought about the impact of this, you know? So we're going to have multiple robots. We're all going to own robots, everybody. They're about $30,000 a piece right now. So we're all going to be able to afford to own multiple of them. And then we're going to send them out to companies, and the companies are going to hire them as if they would hire us, and they're going to pay them a wage, and these robots are going to earn money for you. Anybody else see a problem with that? I mean, I don't know about you, but if I own a company, I don't think I'd pay a middleman, right? I think I'd just invest in my own robot army to do that, you know? I don't know. Am I missing something here? Like, I just don't quite get it. I don't know. I know these guys are smarter than me. They probably got it all figured out. But like, why would I buy 3 robots to go out and get jobs for me and it'll get triple the pay? So you're telling me an employer is going to employ your robot that has all the same information as all the other robots? Because remember, when one robot learns something, all the robots learn something. But somehow an employer is going to pay your robot 3 times the price of what he would pay a human because it's going to be 3 times better. And he doesn't go out and get his own robots, or she doesn't go out and get her own robots. Like, come on. We're smarter than this, right? Like, we're really smarter than this. I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I know it's really cool and it's like a monster truck and it's like awesome. We're going to build them to scale. I totally get it. But also, people actually die without human contact. And can you imagine like an old age home where they're basically like in little cells and they're just being taken care of by humanoids? That seems very sad to me, you know? Again, this type of thinking, these types of ideologies, they don't truly understand life. They don't truly understand human capability. They don't understand frequency. They don't understand our ability to connect. Yeah, it's like they're missing a piece, right? You're going to sit around and tell stories with your humanoid robots, play a little guitar around the campfire with your humanoid robots, reminisce about the days when you used to go roller skating. And yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, right? It's crazy town, people. Crazy town. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Welcome back. Get into the Naturally Inspired community. You can support the community, and you get so many benefits. You make a purchase. So even a purchase of $50 or more, it will get you into the Naturally Inspired community. So if you need a multivitamin, if you need collagen, if you wanted to try the Vivix, the cellular reset, whatever it may be, we're all buying wellness products. And so this is a wonderful way to support a message and get a fantastic product. So many benefits from being in our community. Get there today, naturallyinspiredstore.com. Yeah, like when you listen to that, don't you just kind of feel like there's some wisdom missing here? Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I can see some of the benefits of having like a house robot that does all your cleaning for you or something, but like, can it go back in a closet? Like, can you shut it off and just like put it in a closet, just like a vacuum or whatever? Like, some of these things I get, okay? But I just feel like these people are gaslighting us. They're gaslighting us with their intellect, their money, their drive to innovate, and the perception of the race. If we don't do it, China will, I feel like there's a lot of gaslighting going on around this. And, it's a way, gaslighting is a way to make people comply, right? Like, you're too stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. There's no questions asked here. We're not even having a discussion about this. Of course, everybody wants. He says that, right? That he's going to build the sci-fi future that we all want. Who asked for that? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Not everybody wants to live in the sci-fi future. Now, I'm not just like some old lady that's complaining about things are changing. That's not it. We are seeing people's brains change because of technology. And less human interaction, has been proven to shorten lifespan. Also, what kind of experience, like what kind of life do you have if all you do is we're living in these little pods? Like in this last clip I'm going to play for you, he talks about, he thinks that these robots are going to be deployed first in San Francisco. And soon, he can't wait to look out on San Francisco and see more humanoid robots than people. And they're all excited about that. That makes me feel sad. It makes me feel sad that you wouldn't be able to see as many humans. Where are the humans? Are we all sitting in our houses because we don't have to do anything? Where are the humans going to go? Like, why would there be more humanoids than humans? Where are the humans? What are we doing? everybody's like going to get tricked into this in the way like, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Well, listen, you're creating a robot to do whatever I want. You told me that already. We're going to build 1 billion robots and they'll be able to do anything you want, which is we're going to scale, we're going to scale, we're going to scale. Okay, so we've got all these robots and they'll do anything we want them to do. So what will we do? Just like, oh, well, you're going to be able to travel. You're going to be able to, go here and go that. Well, that's going to get old after a while, don't you think? What are you going to do? Just keep jet setting around the world because you got free money coming in and you don't have to tend to anything? Like, this is crazy. This is like WALL-E. This is like WALL-E. And there doesn't seem to be any foresight about it with these people. Like I said, they're very compartmentalized. They're not thinking about the emotional component. They're not thinking about the human to human contact. They're not thinking about the mechanics of the daily life, where this would take people. We're already too fixated on our portals, on our phones. It's already captured our chemical, response like dopamine. Many people ignore their children because they're buried in their phone. Like, we've already got problems here. If you have a robot that's doing all your work for you, is that so you can just be hooked straight into the portal, like living life virtually all day long, every day? Like Yoel Noah Harari said, I think he said we're going to have to give them drugs and video games. Is this the drugs and video games thing he was talking about? Because we're going to have so many robots that just do everything for us, but we're supposed to believe that this is fantastic and wonderful and oh my gosh, it's so exciting. We're going to scale. I'm not really buying it. Let's take a look at this last clip. He's talking here.
I think the main message we feel every day, if people are excited about like AI and robotics, is that this is going to happen really soon.
Yeah.
And it's happening. I mean,
I don't think people have a clue of how fast this transition time is going to be.
I mean, just go to our YouTube and watch our videos for the last 2 years. They're watch them side by side. It's dramatic. The change every single year.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it today, in person, and our robots now are, have been in customer sites and things. Like, it's been out and we're going to continue to show it more, but like, it is hard to feel because you don't see it every day. But at some point, you're going to walk out, probably in San Francisco, it'll be the first, and you'll see more humanoids than humans.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be an amazing day.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I'm driving in Santa Monica. By the way, we just did a podcast earlier this morning with Kathy Wood, who sends her best.
Oh, cool.
She's a huge fan of yours.
Kathy invested in me at both Archer and Figure, and she's great.
Yeah.
She feels the same way.
She does. Very proud to be an investor in Figure. And I was telling her, when I'm out with my kids right now in Santa Monica, we do something like counting the number of Waymos that we see. And it's
crazy?
Like, we'll see like 10 Waymos. And then the Coco robots, the little ground robots, like the Starship bots and such.
It's interesting because I didn't even know what he was talking about, right? I'm just a rural old lady, right? Rural lady living out here in the Midwest where nobody cares about nothing, We're just dumb bumpkins out here. That's how I feel like these types of people treat people like me, like us. But I don't even know what they were talking about. Waymos or whatever. It's like a self-driving car or something. And these Coco bots, I guess they're like delivery vehicles. They'll go get your DoorDash for you and stuff. And they're all automated. I mean, zing, 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 zing. Can you just imagine? Like cities aren't annoying enough. I was annoyed last time I went to Denver because of the dang scooters. Don't those things drive you nuts? You got people whizzing by you and they just like drop them right there on the ground and they're everywhere and they're dirty and it looks like litter everywhere. It just looks so sloppy. Can you imagine Coco bots and Waymos and robots and humanoid robots or like, I don't know. Am I just old and I'm just like, I don't want any of this. I don't want any of this. Like what? I think people are being sold a load of goods. I mean, everything's going to be so great because the robots are going to do everything for you. And we already know that People need things to do. They need purpose. They need purpose. And then maybe you say, oh, well, everybody will go and they'll chase their purpose. No, no, chasing your purpose is actually requires a skill set in this modern life, because we are raised to, do things for money. Nobody says, you know what? I recognize these things in you. You should develop your leadership skills. You should develop, your art. Nobody sits you down and tells you that kind of thing. Very rarely. You're kind of left to figure it out on your own. And then you start to make choices when you get older, 18, 19, you start to make choices based on keeping a roof over your head and food in your mouth. And so, yeah, that job seems good. Yeah, I'll go to that school. Oh gosh, now I'm $100,000 in debt, and there's no jobs. Like I could make as much delivering DoorDash as I can with my degree. That's the reality that we're living in. And so people tend to do things based on what they need right now. And so many people are 30, 40, 20, whatever, and they don't know what they want. They don't know what they want to be when they grow up. 50, 60-year-olds don't know 70-year-olds, they don't know what they want to be when they grow up. That requires nurturing, searching, and the skill set to really chase what you want to do, your purpose. It requires a skill set, and everybody can develop it, but not everybody will. There are other variables in the way here. Trauma, right? People go through horrific things, and it's debilitating. And them just getting up and going to work every day and having a routine, that keeps them on track and functioning. So nobody's talking about any of that kind of stuff, because I don't think that these types of people, no offense, I don't know them, but I don't think they really live real lives like the majority of us do. They haven't come across, they went to Stanford or Harvard, and, daddy, mommy, people were funding them. And then they got investors. How many investors have come up to you and said, I want to invest in you? They live different. I'm just going to say that. They live different. And I don't think they are capable of understanding how this is going to impact just the regular person. And will it take over right away? No, I don't think it'll take over right away. I think you'll definitely see concentration in the cities before it, peppers out. But eventually, that culture permeates our whole country, kind of like cell phones did, right? I think more people who lived out in the country and whatnot and valued privacy and all, they were the last ones to get the cell phones, right? But who doesn't have a cell phone now? Who isn't affected by cell phone culture today? Almost nobody. It'll be the same thing with these dominant sci-fi AI future, everybody, that everybody wants. Stay tuned for your naturally inspired moment. We'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448 That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
You can work with me for better health. Book your assessment today at naturallyinspiredstore.com. If you have any questions, like some people are like, oh, how does the Naturally Inspired community work? Oh, it's I can tell you quickly. You make a purchase with our product line, and instead of, buying stuff that you already buy at Costco or Walmart or where have you, you buy it here with us with our partnered product line at Naturally Inspired. But unlike Costco and Walmart, we support you on your optimum health journey. So we have Tuesday night weekly wellness workshops. You can attend live on Zoom, or you can get them on demand through our website as well. And you get access to my priority text line. You get to ask questions, and we can communicate back and forth through the priority health text line, and so much more. You get 15% off retail pricing, free shipping at $150 when you spend over $150. There's lots of specials on right now too. If you spend over $175, you can add a peptide pen, which is fantastic for your skin, a little wand that you use to tighten skin. It's got Chinese herbs in it. It's fantastic for just $20. Just $20. I believe you can choose between the peptide pen wand and a serum, a skin serum for just $20. And these skincare products are normally like $67 or so. So, it's a savings of like $50 right there. So check out all of that at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Book your assessment. Let's sit down and chat. Get into the Naturally Inspired community. Okay, let's get on to the Naturally Inspired moment, because today, this one's kind of personal. This was I went into my closet this morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have got to declutter. Does this stuff bother you? When you know things are out of place, things are messy, and it's like, it just kind of weighs on you. Well, there's a reason for that. So today I want to talk about 5 ways to declutter for better focus and less distraction. Clarity is not created by doing more. It's created by removing what competes for your attention. So, I've been talking a lot about that kind of 25% of your brain that does other things while you're trying to focus on the one thing, the main thing. You're trying to focus on the main thing, and the brain, that 25%, is taking in all kinds of other information and having other thoughts and living in the future and reviewing the past and all that stuff that goes on. Yeah, when we are living in a cluttered space, even not just, physically cluttered, but also mentally cluttered, when we have a lot of clutter, we're just less effective. And we also don't feel as good, right? We're not as confident. We don't have full control over our nervous system. It's just a great thing to do, to think about, how can I declutter? So 5 ways that you can declutter today. Number 1, declutter your visual field. Like, I'm stacked up here with client papers and all kinds of stuff on my desk, and I just have been busy this week, and I have not made it priority to clear up this desk. It's totally bothering me. That's how the brain works. What you see constantly, your brain processes constantly. So when we remove excess items from our desks, counters, and workspaces, just keep only what supports your current purpose, because visual noise creates cognitive fatigue. So true, right? Like, I remember a couple years ago when my kids started getting older, I had all these kitchen appliances and just things on the counter. And I just cleaned them all off. I was like, I don't want any of these on top of the counter anymore. I want everything put away, have a spot. If we don't have a spot for it, it goes. And I just remember how satisfying that is. I've done that several times, through the years. I've had these like major clean outs, and it's just so satisfying. It feels like a reset. And you're not imagining it, because it actually is a reset of your brain when you can get rid of clutter in your physical space. Number 2, this is a good one. Declutter your commitments. So every yes you've made is pulling on your attention. Oh yeah, I committed to that. Oh yeah, that's 2 weeks. I'm going to have to do that. 1 week. Like everything you commit to holds a little piece of your attention in your brain. So write everything you're committed to down, or, put it in on your calendar, track it. And then start to ask yourself, before you say yes to things, does this align with who I'm becoming? Right? Because we're all growing. We're all gaining new knowledge and adapting and adjusting. And, we talked about resistance and how uncomfortable it is to grow. When we're looking for growth, through our health or through whatever goal we're trying to achieve, it's usually, a little resistance, and it's uncomfortable. So the reason why it's uncomfortable too is because we have to make different choices. So our focus increases when we align what we're doing with our commitment to ourselves. And then that will replace obligation. So when your commitment is your health, okay, and you've got yourself planned all week out, what you're going to be doing, where you're going, what you're eating, how you're walking, or lifting weights, or what have you. If you allow something else to come in and hijack your plan, you're serving obligation at that point. You're putting the obligation on yourself, like, I really got to go to that work thing. I was invited. I better go to that work thing. You don't really want to do that, but that feels like the obligation. So you're still serving the obligation rather than the commitment to yourself. The commitment to yourself is so important, especially when it comes to your health. When we don't stay committed to the things that we want to stay committed to, and we are swayed away by the feeling of obligation, we lose a little piece of self-respect every time we do that. Because we made a commitment to ourselves that we were going to follow through with these things. And when we allow ourselves to do something else, boop, a little piece of self-respect, like, you didn't do that. You didn't stay true to your word. Right? So remember that it's not about, being perfect all the time. If you're making a conscious choice to do something else, that's different. But when you're feeling obligated and pressured to do something else, that takes a little piece away. Number 3, declutter your digital inputs. Notifications, they train your brain to expect interruption. So turn them off. Turn off non-essential alerts, unsubscribe from unused emails, and limit your social scrolling windows. Attention is your most valuable currency. And oh my goodness, isn't it so easy to get distracted down the digital scroll hole? That constant, that's a really good point. That's a really good point as I think about this even more. The expectation of interruption, gosh, that is very intrusive on life. You see the phone light up and it's dink, right? Dink. It grabs your attention immediately. But even just the feeling of having something that's going to interrupt you, that's really probably taking up a lot of space in that 25% a lot of the times, especially when you have kids, right? Or, commitments to people in your life that you love. think back to the days when we didn't have phones. When you were out and about doing your things, you were focused on what you were doing. You weren't thinking, oh, I better check my phone because don't know if someone was trying to get in touch with me. So that's really, distracting out there. Again, this is another variable that people, aren't considering as we push and force more technology into our lives. When I say capture your consciousness, I am not kidding. The algorithm is capturing our consciousness. So declutter your digital inputs. Number 4, declutter your thoughts. Mental clutter often comes from unfinished loops. So write it down, journal it, list it, plan it, get it out of your head and onto paper. The brain is for creating, not storing reminders. So important. I say, finish the circle. A lot of times, say like on a weekend, I'm starting laundry. Sundays, I try to do laundry every Sunday and I'll get everything piled up and And then, there's somebody's on the phone or, oh, I got to return that email or, oh, and then I come back to the laundry pile and it's still sitting there. And I'm like, I didn't finish the circle. If we can just focus, if you chunk it down, where we are, when we start something, we close the circle on it. Even if it's like, I'm going to do one load of laundry. I don't have to do all the laundry today. I'm going to do one load of laundry, but I'm going to make sure I get it to the laundry room. I get it in the washer. I get it in the dryer. I take it out. I fold it. I put it away. Done. That's closing the circle. And I think too many times we feel like we have to multitask and we leave a lot of circles open, and that creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of clutter in our minds. Like, oh yeah, I got to go back and do that. Oh yeah, I got to. We'd be so much more efficient, and we'd actually move the needle towards our goals more if we closed the circle. So a little visual there for you that I'm working on to make sure that I close the circle on everything. Close the circle, close the circle. So declutter before you add is the last one. Before starting something new, remove something old. This keeps your life spacious enough to focus deeply instead of juggling endlessly. Growth comes from subtraction as much as addition. Ooh, that's a good one. When you declutter your space, schedule, and mind, you don't just gain focus, you gain peace. And from peace comes clarity, creativity, and intentional action. I'll just say this about decluttering before you add. This is kind of an idea that I use when people are making changes in their diet and making changes in their lifestyle too. We are so fixated on the deprivation model because of diet culture, especially, and just health culture in general in America. It's associated with pain and suffering, and you've got to willpower it and deprivation. And that's not true wellness. That's not true health and wellness. Those are diets. Those are crazy diets and protocols. That's not a lifestyle. So I teach people, what can you add? Add more beef, add more butter, add a walk, add this. And guess what happens? You don't have any room for soda. You don't have any room for French fries. You don't have any room. So by default, you're decluttering. Stay tuned, everybody. Hour 2 is coming right up. This is Naturally Inspired Radio.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia. If you missed the first hour, you got to go back. You got to check out what these tech people are up to. Humanoid robots, people. That's what they're up to. Brad Adcock is up to humanoid robots. And these things are going to roll out soon. According to him, he would like to dominate the sci-fi AI future. And these robots, you can check them out. You know, I went on YouTube and I looked at some of them and what they're able to do. They're able to, function in a household. They are general purpose robots. And Brad plans on making at least 1 billion of them. He believes that when they're ready for market, 1 billion of them will sell immediately. And I just have some questions. I have some questions. I'm just a little unsure if they've actually thought this whole idea through. I'm not saying, they're a terrible idea. I think they could be helpful, like a tool. I think that'd be great. But I'm just not convinced that they're looking at it from that point of view. I think they're just really concerned about scaling and how many of these robots they can get into our houses. And we've had absolutely no discussion about mass surveillance with these robots. We've had no discussion about the cultural impact that they'll have on our country, on anybody's country, and emotionally, how this will impact children, how this will impact the elderly. Like, we haven't had any of these conversations. Zip. I haven't heard any of them. Maybe a round table, here. I mean, yesterday I shared with you a round table, and that guy seemed pretty concerned about technology. You think it's hard to find a girlfriend now. I feel like everybody's going to have a robot pal, and they'll be less inclined to talk to somebody that makes them socially uncomfortable. Because why would you when you have a robot pal? Whew, I tell you. Removing resistance and removing natural consequences from society has really done us a terrible disservice. A terrible disservice. So anyway, that's going to be on steroids with these humanoid robots. On steroids, I tell you. But hey, at least we'll have somebody to clean our house and do our laundry. Which, it's a little tempting, that's for sure. Anyway, now's the time in the show when I want to remind you that you are an American. If you are an American listening, we have lots of Canadians that listen as well. But I like to remind America just how wonderful your culture is, because there's a lot of forces out there right now that want you to believe that you don't have a culture. That your culture is just a mishmash of different immigrants that have come here. And so you don't really have a culture. Isn't that a great way to collapse a culture? Is to make everybody think they don't have a culture. But you indeed do. And it's a pretty awesome one. Yesterday we were talking about the anthem. And I just think it's the best anthem. It is just, who doesn't hear Whitney Houston sing the U.S. national anthem and get chills? Right? You don't even have to be from here. And it would give you chills. Anyway, we talked about that yesterday. So today I want to talk a little bit about Woodstock and just outdoor festivals in general, because Woodstock became very culturally influential because of its timing, because of its symbolism, because of media amplification and myth making, not because it was just a concert. It was a cultural movement. Now, I have my own opinion on the whole civil rights movement. I believe it was a psyop, actually. But nonetheless, Woodstock was very influential. And here's why. It took place in August. At its peak, because it was a volatile year already, with Vietnam War escalating, civil rights unrest, the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy in '68. There was a deep distrust of government. And Woodstock visually represented anti-war sentiment, communal living, youth identity separate from institutions. It gave America a televised image of a generation redefining authority. So power was, being flexed by the youth. It proved mass peace was possible with over 400,000 people who gathered at it. There was very little violence. There were food shortages even. We've all seen the videos of the rain and the mud, and there was very limited security. But even still, there was very minimal violence. And that visual contradicted media narratives at the time, which was portraying youth and the civil rights movement culture as chaotic and very dangerous. Those dangerous hippies. It became a myth through media. The 1970 documentary film and album turned it into a global story. It cemented performances like Jimi Hendrix playing the national anthem, which we covered yesterday, because that was the second most that we had. I said that there's top 3, and it was Whitney was number 1 performances of the anthem. Jimi Hendrix was number 2, and Marvin Gaye was number 3. Top 3 performances of the national anthem. Jimi Hendrix did it there. The distorted anthem became symbolic of protest, reinterpretation of patriotism, and freedom of artistic expression. Now, the CIA and the civil rights movement, here's sort of like a little bit of a what's historically documented. So the U.S. government, including the CIA, monitored civil rights leaders, conducted surveillance on activists. They ran counterintelligence programs such as COINTELPRO. That was the FBI, that mission, that program. And it included to disrupt organizations, infiltrate organizations. They were creating internal division and steering leaders in a certain way. This is all factual and proven. They undermined leadership credibility. So the broader 1960s cultural movements were monitored. Intelligence agencies were highly active within them. And cultural events reflected tensions happening nationally. And there were several other things going on at that time as well, including the Calvary Chapel. Calvary Chapel, they grew out of the late 60s Jesus movement, and they attracted hippies seeking spiritual grounding, offered an alternative to drug-heavy counterculture. They were founded by Chuck Smith, and there's a lot of speculation that that church was actually allegedly grew out of the CIA. So it was an interesting time to be around, but Woodstock made an imprint on people all around the world. It's like the coolest concert I think ever perceived, coolest concert ever perceived around the world. Everybody knows about it. America made their mark in it. So what do we have today in terms of outdoor concerts? We don't have anything near as impactful, but this is part of culture now. Like the young people want to go to Coachella because of Woodstock. And every kind of generation has their own kind of outdoor festival, music festival. Like when I was growing up, it was Lollapalooza. I went to Lollapalooza in Vancouver in 1992, saw Pearl Jam, saw Soundgarden, saw all those bands. And I wanted to go because of Woodstock. I cannot tell a lie. It was that American culture that seeped over into other countries and glamorized and made these outdoor concerts the cool thing to do. And that's so American. That's like what America does. They set trends, right? America sets trends, and then they get just rooted in culture. So some other bigger festivals that go on today, Coachella I mentioned, right? It's not even close though culturally as to something like Woodstock did. What was the other one? The Summerfest is another one. And there's a lot of people that go to these, but culturally, they just don't have the impact that Woodstock did. So the world's largest music festival is Summerfest. And 700,000 people are said to have attended that. But these continue on like the Lollapaloozas and the Coachellas. And it's because I think, that because of Woodstock and the impact that Woodstock made on everything and how much music is a part of our culture as well. And that's why I think, our music is a target, because it's music and movies, they shape culture. And that's why I talk about here all the time that a lot of these celebrities, a lot of these musicians, they're double agents, if you will, quite literally double agents. They work for shaping culture for Central Intelligence Agencies, allegedly, and through other agencies in Hollywood and in the music business. I'm not saying everybody that is an artist goes that way, but they certainly are double agents in some cases, and especially in the 60s. Because they had all that crazy stuff going on with MK Ultra and LSD. It's a crazy country, that's for sure. But it's ours. It's ours. And Woodstock, that's a part of how we do things around here. Outdoor festivals, it's your America. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredbradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredbradio.com/collagen.
Oh, follow us on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I try to post on there, but you guys, I'm going to be honest, social media is just hard for me. It is hard because it's fake. I mean, I can't, it's so fake. And I'm like, what am I spending my time on this for? But anyway, I'm going to get better on it because I know it is a great way to connect with people. And, if we don't put meaningful content out, then we have no chance at I actually think social media is going to end up going away, because how many ads now do you see? There's so many ads on these platforms that I don't even want to stay on them because there's just ad. I never see anybody I know. If I want to check up on somebody, I got to type them in. It's all there. Suggested accounts. I just want to see the people I like, the people I know. I want to see my friends. I want to see my family. I don't want to see, this other stuff. But so I think it's actually going to end up going away. Plus, everybody's selling you something online, and it just feels so overwhelming, commercial, sell. It's just blah. I think it's going to end up going away. I think the future of social media is actually going to be lives. I think people are going to go live when they want to talk to you about something, and you're either going to tune in or you're not. And I think that's the way it's going. But nonetheless, follow me on Instagram, because if that's where you like to hang out, I want to make sure that I am engaging with you and supporting you with good content. So follow me over there at Tammy Garcia, at Tammy Cuthbert Garcia on Instagram. Okay. So let's get to the stories for today. This one might be a little controversial with some of you. I don't know. But go ahead and bring up that tweet by Dr. Yosef. Yes. So weed, we're talking about cannabis, marijuana, we're talking about it. Okay. Weed is driving an epidemic of psychosis and mania. I said this 5 years ago. I saw it. Most weed prior to the 2000s, that's your grandma's weed. It's like less than 5% potency. Now everything is 25% plus, with some concentrates 90 plus. Most people still delude themselves into thinking they're smoking the sub 5% weed from the 70s. The current stuff is literally causing brain damage that looks like schizophrenia. Yes, this is an epidemic, especially in our young men. I've read study after study about this. So 18 million Americans are smoking weed that are 21 plus days a month. And this is a full-blown addiction crisis that even the New York Times now says it's time for America to admit that it has a marijuana problem. I think in just, interacting with people and knowing their habits, I think pot users are almost everyday pot users. I think they smoke every day. I think they smoke pot every day. And this is completely accurate about the potency and that it is creating some major problems for people. So what does it do? First of all, let me say, using marijuana for pain is a wonderful thing because it doesn't have any side effects, right? It doesn't destroy your gut. It doesn't cause, all the fallout that prescription medications come with. So it is a wonderful thing in that regard. But as a lifestyle, it can be debilitating and it can lead to mental illness. So here's some news about it, a little bit more. Especially today's high THC products can trigger psychosis in some people. It can also increase the odds of developing a longer-term psychotic disorder in a vulnerable subset. But it's not everyone who uses weed, and it's not weed alone. In most cases, it's usually THC dose plus frequency plus age, and then there's a genetic component to it. It also is impacted by sleep, stress, and then other drugs that people take. So it could be medication that they're taking as well. Here's psychosis. What I mean by psychosis is a loss of contact with reality, typically involving paranoia, believing people are out to harm you excessively, delusions, fixed false beliefs, hallucinations, seeing things that aren't there, disorganized thinking, agitation, insomnia. Cannabis-induced psychotic disorder emerges during after cannabis use and can improve when you stop. So that's the good news, right? And you're not going through some kind of detox like you are with SSRIs. You're not going to be going through some kind of detox that's, super physical. So that's the good news about it. But first episode of psychosis and schizophrenia spectrum, longer-term disorders can be precipitated earlier or unmasked by cannabis in susceptible people. So if you already have something going on, in mental illness, this is not the answer. This is not the answer for you. Today's pot is not the answer for you. THC potency is higher and concentrates are common. Modern products can deliver much higher THC doses than the weed of the decades past, and higher potency use is consistently linked with higher psychosis risk. So daily high potency use is the biggest red flag, and that's what I think is happening. Large European data found that daily use and high-potency cannabis were strongly associated with first episode psychosis, and the authors estimated that meaningful fraction of cases in some cities might be preventable if the high-potency stuff was eliminated. Cannabis use disorder is strongly associated with later psychotic outcomes. A population cohort work shows that that cannabis use disorder is associated with increased risk of psychotic disorders and related severe mood outcomes. Teens and young adults are biologically way more vulnerable. And this is the subset that I'm concerned about, that I continually hear and talk to people about, is this younger male, like 16 to 22, 24, that in that range. There's a tendency to go big because that's just the nature of being a young boy, a young, adult male, is just go hard, more. And so this is the group that I'm really concerned about when it comes to psychosis and marijuana use. So the brain circuits, including dopamine and endocannabinoid signaling, are still developing through adolescence and early adulthood, which is likely increasing vulnerability to THC's effect on perception, their threat detection and dopamine signaling. This is a real developmental risk, and it includes psychosis risk. How cannabis can lead to psychosis. No single mechanisms explain every case because we have a lot of variables here. It can be other medications. It can be the delivery of how you're taking it. There can be a lot of things at play here. So THC can dysregulate dopamine signaling, which is a core pathway involved in psychosis. A newer cohort study found cannabis use disorder is associated with changes in midbrain dopamine-related region implicated in psychosis. THC can worsen sleep, and sleep loss alone can participate in paranoia and psychosis in vulnerable people. Now, high stress and high cortisol plus THC can amplify threat perception and paranoia. A lot of people smoke pot because of stress and because of not being able to sleep. So that in itself, what a double whammy there, because it's actually amplifying your risk of psychosis if you have high stress already. Low CBD, high THC ratios may matter. CBD may buffer some THC effects, but evidence is still evolving. And also, it's widely known that product labeling can be very unreliable in this space of cannabis. So you're taking a real risk. Especially as like a young adult male or even female, but especially the males I'm really concerned about. Because like I said, it's like they just have an attitude of already of like, nothing stops me and I'm invincible and go harder, go big or go home, right? You see it all the time with drinking. And in this case, drinking's dangerous too, of course. But in this case, we're talking about psychosis. Like that's schizophrenia. And it makes you susceptible to that happening. Like it might not stop. So that's terrifying, right? Not worth it. Risks rise a lot when multiple factors stack together. So daily or near daily use, especially the high potency products, that's a real high risk. Concentrates like dabs and high THC vapes, that can be a problem. Early onset use, meaning in your teens, when you're super young, that makes you more susceptible to it. Personal or family history of psychosis or bipolar disorder or severe depression. I would say insulin resistance. If you have some of those things going on already, mood disorder, MTHFR gene mutation, that leads to ADHD and depression, anxiety, and that type of thing. If your kid is signaling that, or you're signaling that, you're not going to be wanting using these high potency. So prior panic episodes on cannabis, sleep deprivation, trauma history, heavy life stress, mixing stimulants with them like psychedelics or even heavy alcohol, sudden paranoia after stronger product, higher dose. That's your first inclination that you might be in trouble. Overusing cannabis. It's not your grandma's weed, everybody. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Shout out and a thank you to all of our members and our new members for supporting our show and community. These people have recently made a purchase with us, and we are so grateful for you doing that. Barbara, Danette, Chris, Rick, Deborah, Charlotte, Jen, Margaret, Chris, John, Devin, Tom, Debbie, Christina, and others. I thank you so much for supporting Naturally Inspired, getting great products, but also shaping culture in your country by connecting to real solutions for health. It's our supporters like this that help us stay on air and keeps our health community growing. So we're so grateful for you. We've still got deals, buy one, get one free that people are taking advantage of. You can find them over there at naturallyinspiredstore.com at our monthly flip book. Just head on over there, naturallyinspiredstore.com. You'll see it, our monthly flip book. Click on it, opens up all the deals, the buy one, get one frees. And don't forget, if you spend $175 in the US right now, $175, you get to add a $20 peptide wand, or your choice, a skin serum as well. And that's like a $57 savings, I think it is. It's a great deal. So take advantage of it today at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Okay, next news story I want to cover today is Bobby Kennedy again coming around, spitting facts all the time, slowly but surely. We are going to turn this ship around when it comes to MAHA. Let's go to that clip. This is Bobby Kennedy.
Yesterday, I met with many of the prison leaders in this country. We're talking about changing the food in the prisons for public safety reasons. Because we know in their study after study, and you can go on Google and look them up, that show when they change the food to real food in prisons, that the violence goes down by 40 or 50%. Disciplinary problems drop by 40 or 50%. Use of restraints in juvenile detention facilities go down by 70%. Oh, this is a mental health issue as well as a behavioral issue, as well as a physical health.
Did you notice on their posters, they both have the Mike Tyson tattoo? I don't know, like a little fun is enjoyable, you know? Gosh, politics have just been so painful. They're so painful over the last few years that I don't know about you, but it's like a breath of fresh air for me to see like a little bit of play you know, a little bit of like camaraderie. And like, who doesn't love Mike Tyson? You know, I mean, I guess maybe I'm just speaking for Gen X here. But everybody loves Mike Tyson, don't they? I mean, he's Mike Tyson. But anyway, he's of course on board now with Maha because he struggled with obesity and lost his sister to obesity at 25. I didn't know that. Lost his sister to obesity at 25. So he is on the Maha train. And I happen to know that him and Bobby Kennedy have been friends for quite a while too. So that's really cool. I just think more fun. And can we just not all agree on health? Like, good Lord. Can we just not all agree on the food that we're eating shouldn't be poisonous? You would think that would be a no-brainer, right? Can we just not make food about left and right and my guy and your guy? Like, food and health, everybody should be on board with that. Everybody should be on board with that. And like, why are you supporting, you know, massive corporations, pharmaceutical companies over like just food? It's so, you know, that's right there. It just goes to show you that it's actually mind capture. You know, it's brainwashing because it just doesn't even make sense. Since when do people want to get behind the corporations and protect their interests over just changing food? You know, it's crazy. So he was talking about there how changing prison food can reduce violence, and it's true, especially when the changes improve the quality of the nutrition in micronutrients and blood sugar stability. That's the big thing. I don't know if you know, but I've talked about this a couple times, that many addicts, okay, so that are addicted to like opiates or other drugs, when they are able to detox and come off drugs, they tend to gravitate towards sugar. So they like a lot of candy and stuff like that. That's because they're trying to hit that dopamine response still, right? So addiction is a neural pathway in the brain. And when you do it over and over and over again, it becomes a very deep habit. And so they're looking for an alternative. And that's how toxic sugar is. It's just like a drug. It truly is. So blood sugar stability is a big part of it. The effect is measurable, but it's not magical. But food is biological. It's a biological lever that influences our behavior. I don't think enough people pay attention to that. I can remember like in the 80s, you know, 90s when I was like babysitter and I worked with kids a lot. Like I was a recreation leader and all that stuff, figure skater, teacher. So I was like around a ton of kids as a teenager. And I can remember like, you know, kids that I would babysit or whatever, and their moms would be like, don't give them any of this. You know, no pop, no this after, you know, none of this after 7:00, you know, because the kids would just get zing, 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 you know, they'd go absolutely nuts. So I don't recall hearing that a lot when my kids were growing up. You know, like there was this disconnect already between food and behavior. Like that started, I think, in the 2000s, where there just was that disconnect. But back in the 80s, that was pretty well, like everybody knew that. So interesting. Food affects violence because violence is strongly influenced by impulse control. It's strongly obviously influenced by emotional regulation, stress response, sleep quality, neurotransmitter balance, and all of those depend on deep nutrition. When diets are dominated by ultra-processed foods, lots of refined carbohydrates, added sugars, seed oils, micronutrient deficiencies, you get blood sugar spikes, you get crashes, you get elevated cortisol, you get increased irritability, aggression, impulsivity. And this matters more, especially in an institution like a prison, because stress is chronic. and autonomy is low, and sleep is always disrupted, and trauma is very common as well. Micronutrients reduce violence. One of the most cited findings come from studies in correctional facilities where inmates were given vitamins, minerals, and essential fatty acids. And the results showed significant reduction in violent and antisocial behavior. There were fewer disciplinary infractions and improved emotional regulation. Blood sugar stability equals behavior stability. Okay. High glycemic meals increase irritability, they lower frustration tolerance, and they impair judgment. Omega-3s matter a lot because they're a neuron membrane. They support neuron membrane fluidity. They support serotonin and dopamine signaling and reduce neuroinflammation. A low omega-3 status is associated with aggression, antisocial behavior, and mood instability. That's why I'm always pushing them on people. I'm like, you need to get your omegas in because it's not only about that, but the balance. We have too many omega-6s just readily available in our food supply and not enough omega-3s. What you eat impacts your mood. It impacts who you can be every single day. It truly does. And the crazy thing about it is that we can't see it in ourselves. We often can't detect it in ourselves until we bring awareness around it. So now you're aware. If you weren't before, now you are. Think about it. Think about how your mood escalates and drops off after eating carbohydrates. Think about your mood after consuming alcohol, right? Even 3 days later, we can feel depressed mood from drinking alcohol. And food is the same. Food is the same way. We get these big spikes from carbohydrates and lots of sugar, and then this deep drop off. And then we blame ourselves and we think, oh, I'm just moody. I'm dealing with depression or I'm dealing with this. You may be dealing with a metabolic health issue. Like every other normal human being, you're not really supposed to be intaking this much processed food. People are writing books about this. This isn't just me. I've been reading their books, and their books are saying the same thing. Your brain needs healthy fats. Your brain needs protein. You don't necessarily need dyes and crazy amounts of sugar. It's not what you need. Next up, I want to talk, before we go to break here, which is very, very quick, I want to talk about PCOS. Let's hit that graphic right away, Jay, before we go to break. Did you know that PCOS is now being called diabetes of the ovaries? As insulin resistance has been discovered to be a core driver for most sufferers of PCOS. Again, you never heard of PCOS a couple decades ago. It was very rare. And now we hear about it all the time. It used to be something that was directly associated with morbidly obese people. That should have been our first clue that this was a metabolic disease. But now, even thin people are suffering from PCOS. And that's because insulin resistance, it isn't detected through blood glucose measurement. Insulin resistance is a whole different test. You have to ask for it. They don't give it. They don't offer it. So if you experience crashes in the afternoon, if you have skin tags, if you have a hard time losing weight, if you have fatigue, inflammation, and you're eating a standard American diet that's high in carbohydrates and high in sugar, high in seed oils, I guarantee you're probably dealing with insulin resistance, especially if you have PCOS. Stay tuned. We'll talk more about that and your health topic. We'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. Schedule your free assessment with me at naturallyinspiredstore.com. I want to also let you know we have a supportive protocol for PCOS as well. It is our berberine, omega-3s, and our Vivix. So a functional ovary protocol is what I call it. And you can get it at naturallyinspiredstore.com. We're going to talk a little bit about why berberine and all of that. I'm going to give you kind of a twofer in our health topic today, because we're going to talk about PCOS still a little bit, but we're also going to talk about cleansing, because this could actually be a good thing to do as well, especially if you're facing insulin resistance or any other type of issue. I have a different take on cleansing, and so I'll start there. Always be cleansing. ABD. Always be ABC. Always be cleansing. And so always be detoxing is also what I say. Always be cleansing, always be detoxing. You got to keep your detox pathways open. And the best way to cleanse is to stop putting the toxin in. Stop putting the seed oils in. Stop putting the carbohydrates in. Stop putting the sugar in. You have detox pathways, right? You have kidney, you have livers, you have lymph system, you've got skin as a detox pathway. Like, you've got all these detox pathways. Your body knows what to do. But when you're constantly overloading it, you're not giving it a break, you know? The very best thing you can do for cleansing is stop putting it in, okay? Excuse me, I got tickled in my throat there. The next thing you can do, okay, so you want to switch to a high protein diet. But you feel like, you need a cleanse. And I get that. But some of these protocols are a little crazy. I think there's a lot of protocols. I'm not saying they don't work. Listen, parasites are real. Okay, parasites are real. They can be debilitating. I've seen people that have parasites that have rashes all over their face. They are swollen up, like they are real. They can be debilitating. But for most people, what really needs to happen is a lifestyle needs to be curated, and it needs to be curated in a way that you can stick with it for a long period of time. And as you work that lifestyle, what happens is good bugs come in and the bad bugs leave, because by default, bad bugs don't survive a healthy lifestyle. What happens when people start feeling symptoms from too many bugs, things like parasites or what have you, they're overrun. They're overrun with them. And it's usually because they have had something that has lowered their immune response, and they haven't been able to stay ahead of it. So the quicker you get on a healthy lifestyle plan, the faster you're going to be able to maintain the results, right? Maintain the results of, creating better bugs, gut microbiome. And I just think that people are doing these really intense cleanses, And then they're going back to a regular lifestyle that they had before. And they think the cleanse is just going to like take care of it, you know? And so I just want to kind of deter you from doing these really, intense cleanses. It's more of an annual event, maybe. If you want to do a cleanse, like there's some really great research with ivermectin about deworming and whatnot. And of course, Dr. Mackus talks a lot about ivermectin. So does Dr. Lee Merritt. Dr. Lee Merritt has protocols for ivermectin that you can find on her website. So do those throughout. Maybe you do them once a year or twice a year if you feel the need. But this constant cleansing, it's not getting you to where you want to be. What you really have to focus on is your daily routine. Okay? So that being said, I can see why people want to do a cleanse. We have a great one. It's a 3-day cleanse. You can get it. It's called Activate 3-Day Cleanse. You can get it at naturallyinspiredstore.com. So here's a couple things though about what insulin does to the ovaries. Talk a little bit here about PCOS before we run out of time. The ovaries overproduce androgens, testosterone. High insulin directly stimulates ovarian theca cells to produce excess androgens. This leads to irregular or absent ovulation, leads to acne, facial body hair, hair thinning, polycystic appearance, which many are immature follicles. The ovary becomes a hormonal factory responding to insulin instead of estrogen balance. Ovulation is disrupted. Insulin resistance prevents proper follicle maturation. It traps eggs in early stages. It suppresses progesterone production. No ovulation equals no progesterone equals estrogen dominance. Blood sugar may look normal at first. Many PCOS women have normal fasting glucose, normal A1C, but elevated insulin. And this is early stage metabolic disease, just localized in the ovaries before showing up as type 2 diabetes. The PCOS diabetes connection, women with PCOS are 3 to 5 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes, at higher risk for fatty liver, cardiovascular disease, and of course, infertility. PCOS is often the first warning signs of systemic insulin resistance. Functional medicine viewpoint from this is PCOS is not primarily a reproductive disorder. It's a metabolic inflammation disorder. I just think about all the people that have been impacted by PCOS and have not had children because they've not understood insulin resistance. Okay, so here's what works, okay? You got to lower insulin, not just by adding hormones. You've got to improve mitochondrial function. You've got to reduce inflammation. You got to support stress and cortisol balance. You need protein-forward nutrition. Berberine is great. That's why I put together this little pack of berberine for you, omegas, and the polyphenols. So it's the functional ovary protocol. PCOS is essentially diabetes of the ovaries. The same insulin resistance problem, just showing up as hormone chaos before blood sugar chaos. So I hope that helps somebody today. Oh my goodness. I talk to people all the time that don't understand, why they have PCOS, and they just keep getting given more drugs and more drugs and more drugs. This is a metabolic problem. This is a metabolic problem, and you can regain control over it with a very keto diet, essentially. But I promote, fruits and vegetables as well, because you need the fiber. You can't do keto forever. I don't think, that's just my opinion. I know all the keto people are freaking out right now, but that's just my opinion. Okay. Just my opinion. And then I want to tell you about the 3-day cleanse, because there's a lot of people out there that want to do the cleanse. So the Activate cleanse, it's 3 days. It's a true cleanse. It opens detox pathways. It doesn't overwhelm them. It opens them. And that's exactly why Activate is effective for short, strategic reset. Okay. So it supports elimination first, not detox dumping. And many cleanses fail because they mobilize toxins but don't ensure proper elimination. That's the truth. A lot of people are cleansing with no binder to pull whatever they're cleansing out of their body. This is not that. This is a way to pull stuff out of your body. It focuses on kidneys, lymphatic flow, and gut motility. And this prevents any kind of toxin recirculation that may cause, like without a binder, is headaches, fatigue, and irritability. It's 3 days because the body clears water-soluble waste quickly when elimination pathways are supported. It gently activates the lymphatic system. The lymph system has no pump. It relies on hydration, mineral balance, gentle stimulation. And Activate, this cleanse, reduces stagnation, decreases puffiness, improves cellular waste removal, and this is why people feel lighter. Reduces stagnation, decreases puffiness, improves cellular waste removal, and this is why people feel lighter and like they have more energy after they complete it. It's non-stimulant and non-starving. So unlike a lot of harsh cleanses, there's no fasting needed. You don't need laxatives. There's no cortisol spike because cortisol actually blocks detoxing. Stress raises your blood sugar and starvation slows metabolism. So this Activate cleanse works with normal eating, especially, of course, normal eating, protein, healthy fats, fruits and vegetables, lots of water, lots of hydration. It improves cellular hydration. Detox happens at the cellular level, not just the colon, and Activate supports water movement into the cells, electrolyte balance. It supports waste removal out of the cells. And people, after doing it, they see clearer skin, clearer eyes, less bloating, better energy, just feeling lighter, especially just after 72 hours. 3 days is a great sweet spot for a cleanse. It resets your habits. It improves insulin sensitivity. It reduces inflammation. It will support your liver and kidneys. And you don't impact thyroid with a crazy, intense cleanse. And there's no hormonal disruption. So this respects detox physiology while supporting organs of elimination and avoids stress chemistry, enhances your hydration and flow. It's very easy to do. You don't have to do anything special. You're just going to take the little packets, one each day. So if you're busy, it's an easy thing to incorporate into your day. A 3-day cleanse, because it opens detox pathways gently. It does not force toxins out faster than the body can eliminate them. It's a perfect way to get started. And I know the urge to want, especially after Christmas, I really hit the Activate after Christmas because I just felt like, okay, I need to start over. I need to start over. And so it's a wonderful way to do that, but it's not intense. I say be cautious, and make sure you do your due diligence with the cleansing, because it can get pretty crazy, and it should be monitored by your provider if you're going to do one of these pretty intense ones. So you can build back nutrition through nutrition, and you should, because the sooner, like the only thing getting you to the results that you want to have is the transformation of doing the habits every single day. You've got to get a system in place. Listen, you can have all the dreams you want in the world, you can have all the goals you want in the world, but if you don't have a system on how to get there, you're going to be all over the map. Boom, 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 boom. I'll try this. I'll try that. I try this. I'm going to try this. I think I'll try that. Get a system. Wake up in the morning, have coffee, right? Fast till noon, eat till 8 p.m., eat eggs, eat beef, eat healthy fats, hydrate, walk, lift weights. That's a system. You must have one. You've been listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, and I will see you tomorrow.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.